Hey guys, it's Alexandra from Cre8tioncrochet.com and yarncraftsandcoffee.com. Today I'm going to show you how you can make a really quick and cute chunky ear warmer worked in this modified even berry stitch. Creates these super cute little pebbles. That's what I call this series. This is my little pebble series. You have these little raised bumps here. And I absolutely love this stitch pattern. This is going to be a combination of single crochets and treble crochets. We're going to create one long rectangle. Once we get to the end, we're going to go ahead and seam it closed. I'm going to show you how to do it with the mattress stitch. For this tutorial, I'm using a chunky weight number 5 yarn. This is Lion Brand Hue and Me. This cream colorway is called Whisper. I'll link this down in the description box below, as well as some alternatives. Together with a chunky weight yarn, you're going to want to have an L11 8mm crochet hook. Gauge is essential for this project to ensure that the finished ear warmer fits correctly, so you're going to want to have a soft tape measure. And a useful tool to help save your fingers when you're weaving in your ends of thick, chunky yarns is going to be a pair of jewelry pliers. This is a game changer for me. You're going to find instructions for toddler, child, adult small, and adult large included. We're going to measure gauge in pattern as we're working, so I'll show you that when we get there. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with a slip knot, so I've pulled the yarn over my fingers here, wrap it around my index finger 2 times, hold the tension with my thumb and my middle finger. Then I'll pull the loop on the left up over the other one but not off my finger. Then I'll go to the one on the left now, pull it up over the other one and off my finger. Grab my crochet hook, insert it into the loop on my finger and pull it off. Then I'll hold the working yarn in my right hand and the short tail end in my left. I'm going to pull that so this knot will go to normal tension. We're going to start with a chain. To chain, we yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook, yarn over, pull through the loop on our hook. Each time we do that, we get one of these V shapes here. We don't count the loop on our hook. We have 1, 2, 3 chains. Now I'm going to put up a chart that's going to show how many chains you're going to want to have. Depending on the size that you're working, the number of stitches that you're going to have is going to be equal to 1 less than the number of chains that you have. So if you have a chain 12, you're going to have 11 stitches. If you decide to adjust this at all, you're going to want to make sure that you start with an even number of chains so that you get an odd number of stitches. Once we have all our chains complete, we're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So again, we don't count the loop that's on our hook. There's our first chain and our second chain. Right in the center of that second chain, that's where we're going to work a single crochet. So I'll insert my hook in the center of it, yarn over and pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. And that completes our single crochet. Now we're going to treble crochet into the next stitch. That's also called a triple crochet. Yarn over 2 times, so there are 3 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the center of the chain. Yarn over and pull through. There are now 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That completes our treble crochet, and to get it to the same height as that single crochet and have it pop out to create that texture, we single crochet into the stitch after it. So insert your hook right into the center of the next chain, yarn over and pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. I'll pull up a loop here really quick, and now that treble crochet is going to pop out here and it's going to create that little bobble that we have on the front. It's a little bit hard to see now because we just have that one, but as you keep building and adding the rows, the texture is really going to come together. So throughout the whole entire pattern, when you're working this row, you're going to be working a single crochet followed by a treble crochet, and then repeat single crochet, treble crochet, all the way until you get to the end, and you always finish with a single crochet. So right now we have single crochet, treble crochet, single crochet. We're going to work a treble crochet in that next chain, yarn over 2 times, insert your hook right in the center of that chain, yarn over and pull through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Single crochet into the next chain, insert right into the center, yarn over and pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops, treble crochet into the next stitch, yarn over 2 times, there are 3 loops on your hook, insert right into the center of the chain, yarn over and pull through, 4 loops now, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Before I continue, as I move up, I do like to hold on to the part of the stitch I just finished so that it doesn't pull up on the initial loop from my hook. So I just finished the yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now I'm going to move my fingers from the bottom chain up to the first part there. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Hold on to the fabric here in my right hand so I can move my left hand up a little bit more. And then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That way these loops are even in size. Otherwise this initial loop will just start to get larger and then it'll make your fabric look messy. So if this stitch starts to pull out of shape, then I recommend pulling out your fabric and reworking the stitch. So if that loop was way too long, then I would just pull my hook out, pull out on that last stitch, and then reinsert my hook into the loop and rework that treble crochet again. Then we single crochet into the next stitch, and that's what brings it down so that it's even with the single crochets. Continue working in pattern all the way to the end. In that very last stitch, end with a single crochet. Now that I've reached the end of my row, if you'd like to count your stitches, you look to the V shapes here that are on the back side. That's going to be the easiest side to see them from. Right here at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The treble crochet V shapes are going to be a little bit bigger than the single crochet ones next to it. To start the next row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're looking at the front textured side. Each time we work from this side of the fabric, we're just going to single crochet all the way across. Insert your hook into the very first stitch there, picking up both loops of that single crochet. Yarn over and pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through to complete that single crochet. Then you insert into the next stitch, which is a treble crochet, and the stitch sort of falls to the back. So it's right here at the top, rotating a little bit to the back so that I can see the V shape and pick up both loops, and then complete a single crochet. Single crochet into the next stitch, which is really easy to see there. And then single crochet into the next treble crochet, rotate it just a little bit so that you can see where to insert your hook to pick up both loops of that V shape. Single crochet into the next single crochet, and then single crochet into the next treble crochet. Go to the top of it, rotate a little bit, and then you'll see where to insert your hook to pick up those 2 loops. And you just continue all the way across the row, single crocheting into each stitch. So you're going to have the same number of stitches in this row as you did in row 1. They're just going to be all single crochets. And after we work into that very last single crochet, we've completed our row. Now we're going to go back and work another textured row. Chain 1 and turn. Each time you're looking at the flat side, that means we're working from the back and we're going to be working the textured row. So we're going to start with a single crochet into this very first stitch. Then we're going to work a treble crochet into the next stitch. Now you see that my stitch has pulled out kind of long there. I don't like that, so I'm going to rework that one. Pull it a little bit tighter. Single crochet into the next stitch. Treble crochet into the next stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch, treble crochet into the next stitch. Continue in pattern all the way across, single crochet into the next stitch, treble crochet into the next stitch. When you get to the end of the row, you will end with a single crochet in that very last stitch. Once we have all our stitches complete here, we're ready to chain one and turn. And now we're looking at the textured side, so that means we're going to be working a row of single crochet. Single crochet into the first stitch, and then single crochet into each stitch all the way across, the same way as we did before, ending with a single crochet in the last single crochet. And this is how our repeat is going to continue. So after we single crochet all the way across, we'll chain one and turn, and we'll be looking at the flat side or the back side, which means that we know we're going to work a textured row after that, which is single crochet in the first stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch, all the way across, working a single crochet in the very last stitch. Then you'll chain one and turn, and you'll be on the textured side again, which means that you are single crocheting into each stitch all the way across. Now I've completed 6 rows here. Down here at the bottom, the textured row, that is row 1, and above that we can see another textured row. We know that that is worked from the same side, so that is row 3. And then there's a small row here in the middle. That is row 2, where we just worked those single crochets. The easiest way to count your rows is going to be looking for the textured rows, so then you can count 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. After about 6 rows, you can lay this flat, measure from the edge of the left side all the way across to the edge of the right side. This is going to be the finished height of your ear warmer. So if you would like a thinner band, you can take out chains here and work less stitches, and for a thicker band you can add chains and work more stitches. From the number of chains that I've provided, you would subtract or add in multiples of 2. We want that beginning chain to be an even number so that we get an odd number of stitches. You're going to continue alternating those 2 rows, a row of the textured pattern and a row of the single crochet, until you get the length that you want for your ear warmer, and you're going to end on an odd row, which is a row of single crochet. I'll go ahead and put up a chart now that shows how many rows you're going to want to have depending on the size that you're working. Once you have all your rows complete, you're going to want to take time to measure, lay it down flat, measure from the bottom edge all the way up to the top edge. You're going to want this length to be about 2 to 2.5 inches smaller than your head circumference. If your measurement does not fall into that range, then the finished ear warmer may not fit correctly. So if you need to, you can work more repeats here to add length, or you can take out a couple rows if it's measuring too long. Just make sure that you finish on a single crochet row. Now there's a couple different ways that you can seam up your ends, and my preferred way is a method called pull, loop, through, join. But that does not really work as well for this stitch pattern. If you've checked out my lightweight and worsted weight versions of this ear warmer, then you know I did a whip stitch on those, and a whip stitch is very easy to do. I did notice that the seam was a little bit more pronounced than I would like, so I'm going to do a mattress stitch for this one. Feel free to substitute whatever join method here you prefer. I'm going to be showing the mattress stitch for this one. If you want to do a whip stitch, then make sure to pop down into the description box below. Go over to my worsted weight version of this and I'll provide the time where I do the whip stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten off here with a tail end long enough that I can sew this up with. And I'd rather be safe than sorry, so I'm pulling a longer strand. I'm going to go back to my last loop here and I'm going to pull on it so that this strand will come out. Then I'm going to insert this strand into my tapestry needle. And I'm ready to go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to be doing my join from the right side here. And I'm going to work through both loops of the V shapes. I've seen many tutorials over the years where they do different variations of it. Some of them you use just the back loop of the V, some of them you use just the top loop here from the V, some of them you insert from the top down, some of them you work from the bottom up. I'm going to show from the bottom up through both loops of the V. So if you prefer a different way that you've seen or used, then you can go ahead and do it that way. My strand is attached down here at the bottom from where I just pulled up the loop on the end of that last stitch. If you fastened off or you ran out of yarn and you need to attach a strand, flip to the back side of your work, weave in a strand vertically here through a couple of those stitches. I like to do 3 passes for the most security, so I would start down here about 2 rows down and I would work 1 pass up, 1 pass back down, and 1 pass back up, and then I would come out from the back to the front underneath both loops of the same stitch here, and then I'd be ready to go. But since mine is attached, I'm not going to worry about that. So looking here at the right side, it's very easy to see the V shapes from each stitch here. From the left side, they are tucked away on the back side. You can see that you only see the little pebbles here. So you're going to have to rotate that so that you can see the wrong side or the inside of your work. And then you're going to see the V shapes here. Those are going to be from your initial chain when you started the ear warmer. Those are going to be the ones that you're going to work through to attach them to the stitches from the very last row. So right now my tail end is down here at the bottom. I'm going to go to the corresponding stitch here on the left side, working from the inside out. So from the wrong side here, or the flat side, through the stitch coming out on the textured side. I'm going to find the very first chain down here, which is the corresponding stitch, and I'm going to insert my needle here right underneath that V shape, as if I was picking up the stitch right through the center there, picking up both loops on my needle, coming out at the top, and I'm going to pull through. And I'm going to leave it a little bit loose here while I start working a couple stitches. I'm going to come back through this very first stitch here on the right side. So I'm going to work from the back side or the flat side there, through the stitch, picking up both loops of the V shape, coming out on the top textured side, and I'm going to pull through. And still leaving it a little bit loose in here, I'm going to go back to the left side, rotate this upwards so I can see the V, and now I'm going to go to the next stitch above where I originally worked. So this is going to be the second chain above it. I'm going to go from the bottom, or the flat side, through the stitch, picking up both loops of that V shape, the same way I would if I was inserting my hook. Coming out on the front textured side, and then I'm going to pull through. Going back to the right side now, I want to go into the second stitch as well. I'm going to go from the back side to the front through the stitch, picking up both loops of the V shape, coming out the top textured side, and then I'll pull through. And I'll do one more over here on the left side now, going up to the very next chain, underneath both loops, pull through. Now on the right side, into the next stitch, from the back to the front, underneath both loops of the V. And I'm going to continue working upward. You see this spot here where it's a little bit loose? We can now hold onto our fabric, pull on this strand, and you'll see that those strands are going to tighten up. It might pull the very beginning there, so I'm just going to bring my needle in to that very last stitch, and I'm going to just gently tug on it to get it back out so that it's not distorting the shape here. We want it to just lay naturally, but you can see here that now this gap has closed up completely. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue working upward, and I'll see you once I get to the other side. So here I've reached the very last two stitches at the end. I've kept it kind of loose in here, so I'm going to go ahead and hold onto my fabric and just tug on it to close that up in the center. Then I'll come back down to the bottom, pull on my fabric so that I can manipulate it so that it lays flat. We don't want it to bunch up in here. Now I'll go ahead and continue working just this very last stitch here on the left side, same way as I did before. And now I'm ready to go ahead and weave in my ends. So to help the shaping on this side, I'm going to go ahead and come back down on the left side through that last stitch there. And then I'm going to flip to the back and I'm going to weave in on the back side. So let me give this one more tug here, just to make sure everything's nice and tight. Give a tug to the initial tail end there. Manipulate the fabric as needed here so that everything lays naturally. And then I'll flip this inside out. I'm going to go ahead and work over the seam there to hide the bulkiness right over those stitches. I like to do 3 passes. That's my magic number. If you feel comfortable after 2, you can fasten off, or if you feel like you need to work a 4th one, you can do that as well. Also, when I enter and exit the stitch, I don't pick up the whole entire stitch on my needle. Instead, I insert the needle into the center of the stitch to break it in half, and I feel like this helps to capture my yarn a little bit better. So I'm going to go here into a nearby stitch, breaking it in half. I'm going to run vertically here up through several stitches, breaking the last stitch in half when I exit. I'm going to hold onto the fabric in between my fingers, push up my needle, and then I can pull it through. If this is too hard on your fingers to pull through, let me show you my trick. Jewelry pliers. Grab your needle with the flat part of the jewelry pliers and it will really help to save your fingers when you pull the needle through. The only thing you're going to want to make sure that the eye of your needle is facing upward so you can see directly down it. It's going to make it nice and flat against your fabric. Gently pull it through, and once you're through, then you can pull it the rest of the way with your fingers. And I say gently because if it gets stuck and you pull through, it can break the eye of your needle. Go back to manipulate your fabric. You don't want it to bunch up here, you want it to lay naturally. And that's my first pass. So now I will push that over. I'm going to come through a nearby stitch here, breaking it in half, run back vertically through several of the same stitches, and break the last stitch in half when I exit. I'll have the eye of the needle facing up as I push through. Hold onto the fabric here in between my fingers, grab my jewelry pliers, flat part, grab the needle, and then gently pull it through. Pull it the rest of the way with my fingers. Manipulate the fabric in case it's bunched up. And you know what? I feel really confident with this end. So I'm going to go ahead and fasten off after just 2 passes. Now I'll get this other end threaded into my tapestry needle and I'll weave it in a similar manner, working here on the opposite side, so it doesn't go into the same bulkiness there and make it too thick. I did 3 passes here on this last one. Now I can go ahead and flip this to the right side facing. And here you can still see the ridges of the stitches there in the center. So not completely invisible, but that one's going to be the mattress stitch. And then this yellow one is my lightweight version. And this is what it looks like with a whip stitch there in the center. So the whip stitch is a little bit more prominent there. Here they are side by side. What do you think? Do you like the whip stitch more? Do you like the mattress stitch more? Do you prefer using a different stitch? Guys, thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm always on the hunt for chunky yarns, so drop me a comment below letting me know what is your favorite chunky yarn to work with. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to smash the like button to let YouTube know that you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel while you're there, and I'll catch you guys next time.